Happy Friday. It's Chris and Mark with the NWA Exchange podcast. It's Friday, April 22nd, 2022. We've got a great show for you tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go ahead and get into this. What's going on, my man?
Hey, there's a lot going on, man. It's been crazy this week. But I'm excited to we have a lot of stuff going on tonight, so I'm excited to get into it. So how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's been a week. It's been a week. A little bit of activity happening. We'll talk about that. But it's definitely been a kind of one of them weeks that, just keeps that blood pressure up.
Oh, I'm sure. So we'll go through. I'm going to go through some things. What's going on in NWA, and we can break into what we want to get into. The meat of the show. So,
all right, tell me what's going on, man.
So Bella Vista Farmers Market is starting on April 24th, Saturday, running from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Just a reminder also, the Bentonville Farmers Market's on Saturday, 7:30 to 1.
So you get a twofer. If you don't catch it on Saturday, you get it on Sunday.
Not one, but two. So you got
but wait, there's more.
Yeah, both of them will run all the way into right before Halloween. So yeah, you can do Saturday in Bentonville and Sunday in Bella Vista. So there'll be a lot of local farmers there, crafts and small businesses. So it'd be great to go out and see that. And in Bella Vista, that's located over at 706 West Lancashire, where the courthouse is, and Duffer's Restaurant. So if anybody's coming from the north on 71, just take exit 98. Take a left and hit 340 West, which so it'll be interesting. See how many people turn out for that. Last year it was pretty big, so
that's a good way to support your local people too. Like keep the money local
for sure. Yeah, I agree with you. With everything going on, they need the help as much as possible. So we have a board meeting coming up. This one is the POA board meeting, April 28th. So April 28th is a Thursday. So I want everybody to come out, and we talked about this. We need people to engage the POA in a positive way. It starts at 6:00, so get there earlier. Put your name in if you want to speak. It is an open forum, so anything going on with the POA or any issues that you have or anything that you want to offer, please do that. So,
yeah, and I mean, obviously through the times of COVID, with everybody doing remote board meetings and stuff like that, public input probably was down. I'm sure almost everybody saw a decline on that. But, this is a way for you to actually engage the people that are supposed to be representing you from the POA aspect as well. So if you got an idea or you have a grievance, obviously do it diplomatically, professionally, and, don't go in there with a little hothead, but go in there, talk to your board members, state your case, and hopefully it'll be well received.
Yeah, I hope everybody goes out and does that. I know we've had a lot of discussion about lack of turnout, and we want to make a difference and make it better for everybody, and that's why we need everybody involved from all age groups. So, hey, the other thing I was going to mention to you is last week we had some discussion in Pedal It Forward Bike Drive. Just a reminder, that's tomorrow morning from 8 a.m. to noon. So if you have any bikes, dust them off and consider donating them for kids that don't have bikes. I mean, it's a big deal.
They ain't just kids, man. They give them bikes over to people. Their motto is everyone needs one, right?
Yep, for sure.
And I guarantee you, man, I'm gonna be throwing what I got on the trailer and rolling over to the fire department, man. And here you go.
It's a good thing. I think I have one too that I'll donate. We have 4 stations you can drop it off. All 4 fire stations will allow drop offs. Again, it's from 8 to noon Saturday. So the Town Center Fire Station, 103, Trafalgar Road, up there, 8300, and 212 Glasgow Road is the 3rd fire station. The 4th one on Forest Hill Boulevard, 1639. So if you have those bikes, you can hit any one of those and drop them off. Again, like Chris said, he truly appreciate that. And I know anybody that doesn't have a bike is looking for one, and make their day. So I think it's a great thing that they do. And I hope they have a good turnout on it. So Bella Vista Garden Club. Again, good thing we didn't plant earlier in the week. We had a freeze warning, so
Hey, my
we
tulips
talked about
survived, man. My tulips survived.
Oh,
So
did they?
yeah, yeah. Well, they ain't survived some of the deer coming in and chopping them off, but I mean,
Oh, yeah.
the majority of them survived.
So there's 2 days. The April 22nd was Friday. That had to be in by April 17th. So April 23rd is open to the public from 8 to noon. So it's located at Village Wastewater, 380 Bella Vista Way. So if you want to come out, get those vegetables, the plants, they'll be there from 8 to noon. So all the proceeds are going to go to the horticultural students, so which is a good thing. So your favorite, here we go. I did put some stuff aside this week for the garage sale. So we have the citywide garage sale. I know we discussed this the last few weeks, but I continue to remind people because being in the real estate business, I have people always asking me and saying, all this clutter, what can I do with it? I just remind them we have the citywide garage sale coming up April 29th and 30th. Get your stuff aside and get it out there to sell. So again, that's running from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. April 29th and April 30th. So
All right.
only a week away. So that'll be coming up soon. So
yeah, and just be prepared, for all the people to be roving your neighborhoods and stuff. Don't have nothing out in the front yard that you don't want to possibly walk away either, man. I'm just saying, that's a reality, right? A bunch of people coming in. You got to make sure your stuff's tidy and put away and walk away.
Yep. So we can head into the conversation.
One more topic that I wanted to bring up, and that was the city council meeting on Monday. What day is that? Monday the
25th.
The 25th. Monday the 25th. 6:30 at the courthouse, district courthouse on was that Lancashire?
Yeah.
City council meeting 6:30. If you have something you want to bring up to your city council, go up, be heard, participate in the civic process. I mean, it takes a community to run a village, and it takes a large population of the community to run a city. So make sure you're providing that input to your city council members, your elected leaders, voicing your opinion, positive or negative. But participate in that civic process.
Totally agree, Chris. I think everybody has to come out, just like the POA meeting. People got to get more involved in what's going on out there. You can't complain if you're not showing up. So,
well, you can always complain, but
it's not going to do any good.
No, you always got to try. You got to participate in the civic process, and then if they still thumb you, throw the thumb in your face or whatnot, then you really have earned the right to complain.
Right. All right, let's head to a break and we'll get into it.
Buddy, we'll be right back, yo.
Won't watch this same movie again. Windows and doors can't keep me in. I feel my heart underneath my skin. Stack up those dreams, won't let them go. Some way, somehow, my day will come. This is my time, gonna light it up. Stepping out into the unknown. Stepping out, stepping out to whatever's coming on. Stepping out, I'm a man on fire. Sounds crazy, but I never lose. Oh, I'm gonna give it all I got. Do what I came to do. I'm a man on fire, and my day is overdue. This burn is never gonna stop. Do what I came to do. I'm a man on fire. But back to the wall is how I live my life. I risk it all, put it on the line, then blow it up every single time. It's a big world, I'll take it in. If I don't try, how can I win? This chance might never come again. Stepping out into the unknown. Stepping out, stepping out to whatever's coming on. Stepping out, I'm a man on fire. Sounds crazy, but I never lose. Oh, I'm gonna give it all I got.
are back from that short little break. So, that I know I've kind of recycled that drone footage a little bit, but I it's pretty footage, man. I mean, I gotta get out and start doing some more flying, man.
It does look nice. I like that Loch Lomond area. It's beautiful.
Oh, it's beautiful. I mean, that Lake Point area is really nice. I mean, like I said, we went out there during that COVID summer, man, and rented that pontoon. And
did you rent a pontoon out there? Yeah, they have tons of rentals.
Yeah, we had a blast, man. And I mean, jumping off the pontoon, had the 360 camera, had the kid, had a little wrist strap, and I was like, jump in the water, man, just go for it, right? And he's going underwater and underwater shot. It was a great time, man. It's a little family fun day, man, but it's good time, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right, I got a little bit of an update, man. I know I keep kicking this horse, man. But I'm a mule, right? I mean, I just keep on doing it. But so the deck, right? Told you last week. Reached out to Mayor Pro Tem Councilman Doug Fowler. Great customer service, by the way. Could not have expected any better customer service. I hope that this is starting to move in the right direction to where everybody can get proper customer service from, the people we pay taxes to. But over the weekend, there was a vehicle driving around our neighborhood, and we cataloged the license plate. Not going to say it on the show, right? But Easter Sunday, I was like, should I text him? No, I'm not going to text him on Easter. I'm going to let him have that day, right? Texted him on Monday morning. I was like, hey, there's a vehicle. This is the model, make, year, license plate. 2 people stopped, was monitoring, obviously observing stuff, kind of backing up, and found out, who that was. Wasn't nobody doing anything wrong, but there was a huge pile, man. By this time, the excavator showed up. There was an excavator that showed up. I think it was the day after the city posted about it on the website. Little weird, maybe, I don't know. I heard that there was no permits issued for this site, so that's even a little weirder, right? Didn't see anything posted. And so, Mayor Peter Christie texted me, I think it was about 2 p.m. on Monday. Hey, we've made contact with the person that's out on that site, the builder that's on the site, and they have been told that they are not to burn it because it had the appearance that they were going to, I don't know, it kind of looked like Burning Man, I was just waiting for the hippies to show up, I mean, really, here, I'm going to cut over to web share real quick.
Hold on, let me back up for a minute. Yeah. This is a conversation from last week. There was a deck out there, a red deck, all piled up everywhere. So fast forward to this week, what happens again?
Man, there was a little excavator that showed up and just started clearing the lot. It shows up on
Easter Sunday. It shows up.
No, it showed up. I think it was the day after. I think it was the day after I had contacted Mayor Pro Tem Fowler, and the city had posted the picture on their thing, basically saying if you have any information, right? Gotcha. In the dark of the night, little mini excavators dropped off on the property. And it's like. And then I remember Mayor Pro Tem Fowler calls me. He's like, "Do you know? Did you see anybody drop off an excavator?" I was like, "That's not yours. You guys aren't out here to clean it up, right?" No, the city doesn't own a piece of equipment like that. Did a little bit of investigation work. Obviously, if you're going to show up with an excavator, make sure it's yours and not a rented, because there was this is a rental. You could call a number and give them the equipment ID. Rental company wouldn't give us any information, obviously, but that was kind of like a little lead that, okay, this is not the city's, operation, right? Well, it means somebody's showing up. And it sat there because we had a lot of rain. Sat there for a couple days, man. I'm like, if you're renting an excavator and you're not using it, that's kind of costly, right? Anyhow, started clearing some stuff and putting it in a pile. And as you can see in this picture here, there's some red decking in there, right? Oh, this kind of. So I just find it odd. Maybe coincidence. I don't know, but we all know that pressure treated wood is chemically treated, right? And there's a little bit of nasties. Actually, I think the MSDS says you don't burn this stuff, right? You're not supposed to. You can get sick by inhaling it burning. I just find it odd that we're gonna take the deck, and we're going to pile a bunch of trees around it. And like I said, I was just waiting on the hippies to show up, you know, the people, the ravers and stuff. Let's just have Burning Man 2.0 here on the street, right? Why not? Bring out the weenies. Let's go. You know, I'll
you got a salad there, man.
I mean, I didn't get the invite, and I was hoping I was going to get an invite. I'd have showed up and brought the boombox down or something. But
so this is a picture you took. It looks like to me this is like a mixed. You got a salad there.
I
man.
mean,
They mixed it.
remember that show we used to watch as kids, Fraggle Rock? It's like the trash heap, man. Just pop it up, you know. But anyhow, get a text message from Mayor Christie. I actually called him after a little bit later, right?
Right.
He basically said that, you know, the person was told they were not going to burn this. They didn't have a permit. They weren't going to permit it because there's wood in it. There's fresh treated lumber in it, right? I mean, they've already seen it, right? So like, and I was told, you know, they were not going to do that, right? And then, what is that? What is that SpongeBob stuff? 2 hours later.
2 hours later.
Get another text message, bro. And it's like, well, apparently the builder decided that they were going to burn.
Wow,
Right.
he just fired it up.
Just fired it up, man. So, you know, I wasn't at home at the time. I was actually doing some stuff with Friends of Little Sugar, right, down at the dam.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, let me pack it up and move on up, right? I get up to my street and I go ahead and pop out and had a moment, you know, I was off to the side, you know, not over anybody's houses or anything, had a clear line of sight and just popped up with the drone real quick, took a quick picture, and police, fire, EMS services were on the scene,
sure.
man. And I mean,
Wow.
that was awesome, right? I mean, like, okay, finally, man, somebody actually taking care of the situation, right?
Right.
Well, they ended up putting it out, which I'm thankful for, right? Because like I said, that pressure treated lumber. And then obviously like 4 something in the afternoon, Mark. I mean, like, who's going to come out and light a bonfire at 4 in the afternoon
Yeah.
on a windy day in a wooded lot?
I don't know where to go with this.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, you know, so glad they put it out. I gave Mayor Christie a call. I said, you know, awesome job. Thanks for responding. Thanks for following up. But I have a question. If this guy was told to not do this, and basically the minute that the fire chief rolls away, you know, he's like, well, you know, I'm going to do it anyway, or, you know,
These nuts.
I don't know. You know, maybe that thought crossed his head. I don't know. But what I'm saying is like, is there going to be any citations issued? Is there going to be a prosecution? I mean, this is a blatant like disregard for authority, right? You know, I think so. I don't know. Maybe there's miscommunication. I don't know. What I'm saying is this stuff has to stop in our community, man. It has to stop, right? And I mean, like, we'll get a little bit, got another little piece. I was walking our dog, right? And, you know, pardon the video, she's a brute, right? I mean, like, no manners at all for walking or anything like that. But you can actually see the lumber in here. And the lumber is charred. So they caught it right on the tip end, right? Because none of this clearing of tree branches and stuff is charred. They actually, like, were ignited. So that's been ignited by some type of fuel, right? I would think, probably possibly diesel. I don't know, lighter fluid. But you can see that it was put on to these pieces of decking, and the decking is charred. So obviously they used an accelerant to do this as well. And at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a windy day, I don't know, just seems suspect. I hope that, you know, I'm going to provide another follow up once I get more information. That's all I'm going to say. Always got to confirm that information, but I'm going to provide another follow up. But again, this stuff has to stop in our community, man. I mean, like, I would think that ADEQ might want to get involved on this, right? Because, I mean, obviously burning chemically laden treated wood is contributing to what? Possible pollution, air pollution, whatever. It's not healthy, I could tell you that much. Yeah. It's not healthy to burn this stuff in a residential area, Mark.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. So you're waiting on an answer back from
I'm waiting on an answer and waiting on confirmation and stuff like that. I always like to do my due diligence, give everybody the benefit of the doubt, give them enough time, you know, to formulate their official opinion and stuff. I'm not like an on-demand kind of guy, I mean,
I understand.
but
I understand.
I have respect for the process, I mean, I know the process takes some time,
Yeah, it needs more clarification.
People's reports got to be filed, and people, got to do the investigations. They got to figure out what they legally can do, right? They got to look at code and all that. So I'm fine with giving them enough time and all that. But I will be making sure that I do get a follow up on this, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to hear what comes of it, and
there's got to start being some accountability for, like we said, bad actors in the community.
Yeah.
So I think we found the owner. We all want to enjoy this in this place, and we all want to, have. I think clean air is a right, man. I think that's a human right, right? And so, I mean, is burning a practice in this community? Yes, we've seen a lot of other posts like this where somebody has ignited a fire and then left. Nobody's attended it, right? And they're like, oh, and some lots, corner lots and side lots of these places have actually sparked up. And if the neighbor hadn't been monitoring it and called, the fire department, potential for a residential fire or a whole neighborhood to be on fire. That's scary stuff, man, especially when we live in a tinderbox.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna ignite that and burn, and you have to get approval from the fire department in the city, right?
I would think just to have an excavator out there and clearing the lot, you'd have to have some type of grading permit.
Well, you really should be present when you're going to ignite something. You can't just leave it and walk away, because, like you said, you just never know what's going to happen. You get wind blowing, and it you have some embers laying over in some grassy areas or someone's house, and you get a real problem on your hands. Yeah. Nobody wants to have that happen,
Right. So, and so, again, I want to see accountability. I think that if you were to start looking into the person that, was actually out there doing it, you'd find that they probably replaced a deck back in January, for somebody. And, well, lo and behold, there you go, right? You got it. But I don't know. That's how I'd start, my bloodhound nose is pretty spot on. Though. I start sniffing stuff out. I mean, but we just have to see where it goes, and I will definitely provide a status update next week if I hear anything. If I don't hear anything, I'll still provide that status update. Ain't heard nothing, right? Again, all goes back to follow through. So
yeah. No doubt.
Oh, well, I got that. And then, I guess the other thing, man, I mean, we've got, it's POA board stuff coming up, elections, right? And, some of our neighbors, people in the community actually pinged me and said, hey, Chris, who do you think's a good candidate? Who would you vote for? I said, I'm not going to influence your vote, right? It's not my job to influence your vote.
Right.
What I can do is help you, with the appropriate information to figure out who you should vote for. I know the POA sent out that little newsletter, and it's got like a little bio, of each candidate and stuff.
Yeah.
I found what was like for me really to like kind of solidify. I haven't solidified it yet. I would really like to reach out and maybe ask a couple of additional follow-on questions on where their stances are. But I think like after watching this video, and the POA put out a video, I think it was, here it is right here, on, when was that? When did they say they put that out? Go to this, the details. I believe this was in March, man. Like,
yeah, middle of March.
Yeah, March. It's meet the candidate. I thought it had the date on here. Oh, description maybe? No, gotta put labels and stuff in here, y'all.
We'll drop it in there after.
Yeah,
Chris.
I'll put the link. We'll put the link. We'll share this link out, and we'll put it in our show notes and in our description, the link to this video. Because I would like for everybody to actually take a minute and take an hour of your time, right? Turn this on, watch it, and I think this is going to help people formulate their opinion of who is a viable candidate or who isn't. I thought I watched it, I actually listened to the responses, honestly, listened to, the thought process, if you were actually like just piggybacking on somebody else's response, or if you could actually formulate your own response, like if you were the number one person, like, they shift, it goes like from right to left and then left to right. And then like they start picking like you're the first one to answer this question. And then so it gives everybody the ability to be like, okay, you're on point, you're the first one to hear this question, and you got to formulate your answer. You can't formulate your answer off of somebody else's answer, right?
Right.
And so I think that I like the style that they did that. Are all the questions I would have asked? Probably not. I probably would have asked some more challenging questions, but it helped me formulate my clear direction of like where I think I should. Like if I was just gonna vote today, I know who I would just based off of watching this. I would checkbox vote. So I encourage everybody to get out there, watch this video, poll the candidates. If you get an opportunity to reach out to them on social media or whatnot, ask them your questions. Again, it takes a community to run a village, right? And we are Bella Vista Village. So get with these candidates, talk with them. I'm sure that they're actually going to be at that POA board meeting too. I mean, if I was a candidate running, I'd make sure I was there, shake hands, kiss babies, whatever.
Yeah. I think the video itself, and I watched it, and you can get a pretty good idea of who you align with, and I think you don't need much more than that. But if there's additional questions you want to ask, and I'm sure every one of those candidates would be more than happy to answer them for you if you just reach out to them. So,
best of luck to any of them. I mean, it's a hard job, man. I mean, like.
They're not doing it for the money, Chris.
They ain't sure. There ain't no money involved, man. Like, I mean, are you a glutton for punishment, man? Running for POA board, but I could tell you, it's a tough job, man.
It is.
What did we say last week? Trial under fire, right? I mean, like you're gonna catch some shrapnel taking that position, man, because everybody got an opinion.
Right.
But I could tell
we give credit where credit's due, Chris. Yep. You know that. I mean, we know the sacrifice of time that they're making, and it's for the community, and
we appreciate that.
Yeah,
we really do.
We absolutely do. Yeah. I
mean, it's not something I'm ready to throw my hat in. I'm not throwing my hat in that ring. Nope. I don't have the time, man. That's why we do what we do here, right? We better off talking about things versus like having to sit up there and do that board decorum stuff and get called names by fellow board members. And I mean, you call me a name, I'll probably come across the table, bro. Like it ain't happening, not today, not ever, right? But
this isn't the WWE, man.
Yeah, you ain't gonna call me no names, man. But that has happened, right? That has happened in the past, right? Board member got a little nasty with another one. So but yeah. Good luck to every one of them. May the best candidate win, and I hope everybody, gets informed, watches the video. I mean, it's kind of saddening. There's only 547 views of this on the YouTube channel, right? There's only 590 subscribers, But I mean, make sure you like, share, subscribe to our channel, and we'll provide you with some information too, right? But again, this is important for the community. It's important for the POA. I think there is an assessment increase being mulled around right now. Might be nice to talk to some board members and get their opinion on the assessment increase. I know everybody's like, everything's getting more expensive and everything else, but yeah, everything is getting more expensive, right? But got to do this stuff kind of responsibly and, make sure that you're keeping people happy too. So only way to know if you're happy is to poll the people, right? Poll the people.
Yeah.
Public input sessions, stuff like that. I think that wraps it up for topic number 2 and 3, man. We're kind of blowing through this one, but I'm fine with that, man. What are we at? 35 minutes in. I think we're doing pretty good.
Absolutely. What do you want to hit on next?
Anything else that you want to talk about? I've been over here like a little chatterbox, man.
Well, we can talk about mayoral candidate Randy Murray if you want to.
Randy Murray, yeah. Yep. We had a moment that we reached out to Randy, and Randy was gracious enough to give us an interview earlier this week. And so I think we'll take a quick break, and then we'll just cut right over to that interview when we come back. Let you hear what we had to ask Randy, and hear Randy's responses. And I think we did a pretty good little job on the interview, asking some questions, some a little tough, right? But How do you get to know a man by other than sitting down and talking with him?
Totally agree.
All right. We'll be right back, y'all, and then we'll cut right into that interview. Stay tuned.
Won't watch this same movie again. Windows and doors can't keep me in. I feel my heart underneath my skin. Stack up those dreams, won't let them go. Some way, somehow my day will come. This is my time, gonna light it up. Stepping out into the unknown. Stepping out, oh, stepping out to whatever's coming on. Stepping out, I'm a man on fire. Sounds crazy, but I never lose. Oh, you know I'm gonna give it all I got. Do what I came to do. I'm a man on fire, and my day is overdue. This burn is never gonna stop. Do what I came to do. I'm a man on fire. But back to the wall is how I live my life. I risk it all, put it on the line, then blow it up every single time. It's a big world, I'll take it in. If I don't try, how can I win? This chance might never come again. Stepping out into the unknown. Stepping out, oh, stepping out to whatever's coming on. Stepping out, I'm a man on fire. Sounds crazy, but I never lose. Oh, you know I'm gonna give it all I got. Do what I came to do. I'm a man on fire, and my day is overdue. This burn is never gonna stop. Do what I came to do. I'm a man on fire. Oh, oh, oh. I'm a man on fire. Oh, oh, oh. I'm a man on fire. Stepping out into the unknown. Stepping out. Oh, stepping out to whatever's coming on. Stepping out. I'm a man on fire. Sounds crazy, but I never lose. Oh, you know I'm gonna give it all I got. Do what I came to do. I'm a man on fire, and my day is overdue. This burn is never gonna stop. Do what I came to do. I'm a man on fire. Fire. I'm a man on fire. I'm a man on fire.
So, Mark, there's a mayoral race going on, and we've got three candidates now with their name in the hat. You reached out to mayoral candidate Randy Murray, and he agreed to come on the show.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. He actually stopped by the office. I guess he was making he was hitting the businesses in Sugar Creek Plaza, and he came in and sat down and had a discussion with him. I'm pretty excited about what he had to say, but I'm glad he's here tonight so we can get some more information on him. So I'm ready to roll.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and bring Randy on. Hi, Randy. That's Chris
Hello.
and Mark. And
Hey, Randy, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, you're welcome. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name's Randy Murray. I've lived in Bella Vista since 2005. I own a shot crate company, and I'm a contractor, and have been doing that pretty much since like 2006. And my wife owns Busy Minds Academy. And anyway, we moved here after we graduated from college and are raising our family here. We have 5 kids. My oldest son's 17 and my youngest daughter is 9. So, just kind of in that range, and 3 boys and 2 girls. and we love it here. I mean, we chose to move here. My grandparents, when they retired, they moved to Hot Springs Village. I grew up in Nevada, Missouri, and so we drove through here several times a year, my whole childhood. And so, I mean, I kind of knew what Bella Vista was and what it was all about. And so, when we graduated school, we moved down here, and this is where we've chosen to, work and to raise our family. So.
Well, I can tell you chose the right place, because this place is absolutely beautiful, and I know Chris agree with that too.
Yeah.
And again, we're happy to have you here tonight. We want to get into some discussion and a few questions for you come out of the gates. Chris, if you want to.
Yeah, well, I think you've already addressed how long you lived here. One of the other questions that I wanted to start off with is what has really prompted you to put your name in the hat for mayor?
Yeah, so the mayor told me about a year ago that he wasn't running for re-election, so I've kind of known about that, and it wasn't. I don't know. I feel like I'm passionate about politics, and I feel like I am involved in a fair amount of stuff, kind of more than the average citizen, I would say. But I didn't think I would ever run for politics, but I feel like the city is kind of at a unique place in the history of Bella Vista, and so we've kind of developing city infrastructure and the police and fire and expanding the city government and that sort of thing. And I feel like we're kind of at a crossroad now where we go one way or we go another way. And I feel like it's a really critical time, I think, for the right person to be in place that, has a good long-term vision of Bella Vista and to be able to steer it in the right direction. Cause I feel like it could go any way at this point. And so it really was just the kind of the key motivator for me is, I want to live here for the rest of my life, and I feel like I have a lot of life left to live. And so, I want to make this the best place that I can, for forever, and I want my kids to move back here when they get out of school. So
Sure. Hey, I guess a big question, and I know me and Chris go back and forth with this, is what is your stance on expanding city infrastructure? A majority of the houses out here are on septic. There are some on sewer. I mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, is that a viable option to do this conversion? I mean, what kind of cost are we looking at? I mean,
Yeah, so city sewer isn't a thing in Bella Vista. What parts of the city that do have sewer is run by Village Wastewater, and Village Wastewater, it's a clever name, and I think a lot of people think that it's a government entity because it's called Village Wastewater and Bella Vista was a village, but that's a private company, and so city sewer is private. And so, but yeah, I'm all for expanding sewer, and it's totally legal to expand sewer, and it's totally doable. I think, a bunch of Bella Vista doesn't have sewer. It's going to become a bigger problem all along the way. It really is kind of crippling our development right now, because if you want to build a nice big home, you have to buy multiple lots. There just isn't enough space on the average lot to be able to build a nice house and still have room for your septic, because every time you add a bedroom, you add X number of linear feet of lateral line, and your house is, the bigger your septic gets, and so you just run out of space really fast. And that's why most of the homes we see going in Bella Vista, that's one of the reasons most of the homes we see going in Bella Vista are small, 2-bedroom homes and that sort of thing, because there just isn't space in the yard. And so developing sewer, I think, and expanding our sewer would be a fantastic way to just improve the quality of homes going into the Bella Vista area.
Yeah, just to add a little bit on that, and for people that are listening in, is the size of the bedrooms, 2 or 3 bedrooms, will dictate how many linear feet are in that lot. So the people that purchase smaller lots, obviously 0.32, 0.33, maybe smaller, are kind of enclosed by the size of the house that they're gonna be able to build because of the amount of lateral lines. A good perk test might come back at 215, 220 feet of linear for a 2-bedroom, and maybe 315 for a 3-bedroom. So yeah, that's a big issue. When people move in and they want to expand a little bit more, and the problem is, like you said, either it's an existing house with a smaller septic. In the new regulations, you have to dig everything up and add more lateral lines and possibly a new septic tank. So
and it's because there's people that have bought houses and people haven't done a good job disclosing that they added on to the house, or they built out, they had a downstairs and they converted a couple rooms into bedrooms.
Right.
What was originally a 3-bedroom house and the septic was designed for 3 bedrooms is now a 5-bedroom house, and the septic tank is inadequate and there isn't space to make it adequate. And so, city sewer, getting sewer to Bella Vista and expanding our sewer infrastructure would be a fantastic thing for Bella Vista. It would allow us to build, bigger, nicer homes without, having to do it on multiple lots. Because right now that's the only way is you buy multiple lots and then you have to get the lots merged to be able to do that. So.
And on the septics too, they can go down to the city and get the plat, which will show them detailed, it'll show them the size of the septic and the lateral line layout, albeit it might not be accurate all the time, but nonetheless, you can get an idea what the size of the septic tank you have. I learned that real quick.
Not where it is supposed to be and not supposed to be. And a lot of that stuff are plans that existed and drawings that were done long before the city was ever the city. So it's old plans that the city has gotten from before the time the city incorporated and became a city.
Yeah, totally agree. So if you had one thing or one topic you want to tackle in your first year of office, what would that be? I know it's a tough question because there's so many things, but one thing that I guess would be the most urgent.
Yeah, so I feel like I have a lot of kind of long-term plans, but short-term stuff. One of the things that I think is a real short-term issue is, right across the street from where you're doing business and where you were doing business, you can't do business there anymore. And so I don't know if you even knew I knew that, but a lot of those buildings got purchased and they're not renewing leases. And so a lot of the commercial, Bella Vista doesn't have a lot of commercial, real estate inside the city limits anyway. And a bunch of it, and so temporarily those people are all being, permanently displaced. And so some of them have been able to find other locations in Bella Vista, and some people, they don't know what they're doing. I mean, they're still there. They know their lease isn't getting renewed. And so, if they leave the community, then we lose that business forever. If they go out because they can't find another location, then, that's detrimental to people that are doing business in Bella Vista. And so I'd like to kind of help, just expedite the process of helping them being able to use some of the other places that are available. There are other commercial buildings available in Bella Vista. There's some available for lease and that sort of thing. But I think, expediting that process, because, when you find out your lease isn't getting renewed, and if it takes 6 months to get, permits and approvals for a change of occupancy, and then it takes, 6 more months to get all the contract work done and whatever, most businesses can't do a year of surprise construction and red tape. Right. And so I think kind of as a courtesy, the city, I feel like could really reach out and help, in some of that. And so I'd like to kind of, make it more friendly for people to do business and then, and help people that are already committed to doing Bell, help them be able to make it.
Okay. Chris?
Yeah. So let's see. What unique experience or talents do you feel that make you the ideal candidate for mayor?
Yeah, so I feel like I'm a passionate person. I mean, I feel like I show up to work every day, work hard, and I'm driven. I'm young, and then so there'll be people that'll want to use that against me. I don't have as much experience or whatever, but at the same time, I've got energy, I have drive, I have passion. Like, I'm stepping away from more money and a career that I've spent years building. And my relationship with God is the most important thing in my life. And then, with my wife and kids is probably tied, right in there. And then my biggest passion and drive, has been, I've been working on my business for a long time. And so, it's something that I care about. It's something that I enjoy doing. I feel like we've done a lot of benefits for a lot of different people in the community and that sort of thing with it. But I feel like this is kind of a greater good thing. And so, I'm not waiting until I retire and I'm bored and I feel like I have got something, I need something else to fill my time. Like I feel like I'm stepping away from some, great thing, honestly, that I've created to work on something that I feel like, can really benefit a lot of people.
Yeah.
So you could probably relate more to small business people coming into the community, and like you said, we don't want to lose the tax revenue either.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that's a huge issue in Bella Vista. We just don't have that much commercial tax revenue. A lot of the businesses that are in Bella Vista don't generate really almost any tax revenue.
Right.
We're not making a lot of money from the kind of businesses that we welcome into Bella Vista all the time. Sorry.
Oh. There he's back.
Hey, there we go.
He's back.
The power is out in the building that I'm in. I'm in Bentonville right now, and the power went out, and so it's a little goofy right now. I'm running this off my cell phone, so
That's
It's
okay.
okay.
We'll figure it out. No worries.
I know a video guy. So
I don't know who called me, but you might have seen that. So anyway,
No
so
worries.
Bella Vista is obviously, we all know it's a growing community, and we're inviting younger families to move here. Do you feel that there's a need to modernize or revamp the ways that city conducts business and basically be more inclusive and accommodate the younger working families? Their schedules. I mean, most younger families are working, and like an example of this would be, the city planning meeting for the Dollar General that they had at like 4 p.m. Right, kind of a hot topic, but you're working mothers can't even make it there because they're picking up their kids, they're trying to get dinner on the table. Stick to that schedule. So what do you feel that could be done to, I guess, be more inclusive so that these younger families can participate in the civic process?
Yeah, so I do feel like the work session should be a little earlier, or a little bit later. I do. So the city meets. There's city planning meeting, city planning work session, the city council work session, and the city council meeting, and they're all on Monday night. And so, but the time changes on some of them, and so the city work session is early. And so it's hard, people would have to leave work early to get there, make arrangements to pick up their kids. And so I don't feel like, really very accommodating to people. And you have to be there before the meeting to be on the agenda to speak at the meeting. And so just because you show up late to the meeting, you just get to be a spectator at that point. You have to be there long enough to write down your information that you want to speak to be able to ever get to exercise your First Amendment rights, really, and be able to say your piece. And so, timing wise, it would be nice if that meeting was, at least an hour later, but most of the other city meetings are. And I do feel like that's a good thing, that it's not right in the middle of the workday and stuff like that, because, most of the other meetings are, a lot of them start 5:30, 6:30. And so I feel like they're a lot more accommodating, but yeah, city planning work session is at 4:30. And so if you're working, you better make arrangements to get there. And so I do feel like, and that's an easy thing to change. It's, we're already meeting later for all the other meetings. There isn't any reason we can't do that meeting a little bit later.
Yeah, I think that's Chris and I have discussed this on numerous times, and we both work and like other people, and we don't get done 5:30, 6 o'clock at night, sometimes later, and we just don't have the opportunity to go. And I know other people are the same way. So that would be great. I think people would be excited to be able to get more involved with the process. So
yeah, I agree. It's a problem to fix, and I think it just needs to be addressed, and I think it can be fixed. And I don't know why anybody would be opposed to fixing it, because they're already meeting later for every other city meeting.
Yeah, I totally agree. Chris, the transparency.
Oh, yes.
This is a big one for both of us, or lack of. And people are losing trust in the process because information is not, and this is what we were talking about before, just information flow and how things are disseminated. We need a flow that's consistent to residents in Bella Vista, and that's not happening. So
yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, so it's interesting because, Bella Vista, I feel like there's a ton of passion in Bella Vista, and a lot of people, are strongly opinionated on a lot of stuff, but the information that goes out to the public, it's crazy how many times it gets said, but it just doesn't get said in the right place to the right people, because, I hear complaints all the time about Bella Vista, and they're just completely wrong about, probably the biggest complaint I hear is about bike trails. And so many people are just on fire because they think their tax dollars are paying for these bike trails, and that's not the case. Like, they're privately funded, by the Walton Foundation and Trailblazers, and so it's these multi-million-dollar contributions to build up infrastructure in Bella Vista that's generating business and adding assets to the city. And people think that the roads aren't getting paved because we're spending our money on building bike trails instead, and that's just not the case. And I think that there's just the transparency. I think most city employees are happy to tell you they just don't know how to get the message out. And so city planning meetings aren't very well attended. City council meetings aren't very well attended unless that the community gets the word out, and then they're fired up about it. And that's one of the things that I'm really trying to do is just be transparent about things going on. I mean, for example, one thing that's going on that I wish people knew more about was, the city planning is discussing basically creating ACC style rules to govern commercial property. And it's really kind of a response to this Dollar General store.
Right.
And it's a slippery slope, because if you start having the city, regulate how stuff looks, because that's already dictated in C2 commercial, the regulations. It'll say, how far it has to be from the road. And, for every number of spaces, you have to have a parking space island, and those islands have to be landscaped, and you have to have landscaping between the parking lot and the road. And, you have to have X number, style of masonry on the front of the building and that kind of thing. And so, they already get built in a way that makes them more appeasing, and more beautiful than like an industrial zoning or whatever. And so C2 is the kind of commercial usually that is in Bella Vista. And so that, that already is regulated. And so we just have to be careful that we don't make it so expensive to build commercial property in Bella Vista that people, they don't want to pay for it. And so they go somewhere else. It's, hey, we can build this just right outside of Bella Vista. And I mean, look how much stuff gets built all the way around our borders.
Mm-hmm.
No, I totally agree with you. I know Chris and I talked about this in the commercial property. I just feel that 71 North corridor right there, and what you were talking about that before, I think there's plenty of area to build on out there. I think what separates us from Bentonville and Rogers and Springdale is having those rural areas on the east side and west side of Bella Vista. If we start putting commercial properties tucked in back there, and it's going to change the whole makeup of it. I think that's what draws people here. At least it drew me here.
Yeah. I think that we have to just wisely develop that, because, to an extent, we don't want to, nobody wants to commercialize Bella Vista. We love the way it looks. We love the way it feels. We like the trees. We like the hills. We like, the sense of privacy at your house, because there's trees between you and the neighbor. You can't see the people that live behind you because there's a big gully full of trees between you and them. And so I think that, nobody wants Bella Vista to just be built out into this big commercialized, like overdeveloped thing. And so I think we have to be wise about how we do it. But at the same time, as the city has grown, there, that $5.9 million grant doesn't cover the fire and police salaries. So not the retirement, not the any kind of benefits. It's literally just the salaries. It doesn't cover their salaries for a year. That's not the road. That's not city planning. That's not any city official. That's literally just the fire and police. And so, our salary burden and is the burden of just the financial responsibilities of the city is growing. And they, in the city meeting last night, in the work session for city council, they're estimating that the paving of the roads went up 30 to 34% since last year because of the increase in oil. And so, Bella Vista needs a better tax base. We need stuff that's going to bring in better revenue. And so it does make sense to, in certain areas, build some more commercial properties that, have, retail space and stuff like that generates good tax revenue for Bella Vista. And so we need to do that, but we need to do it in a smart way that doesn't mess up Bella Vista. And one thing that most people don't realize or think about, because they're not builders. And so, I'm a builder. And so I feel like I see things as a builder a lot of times. But one of the big fears is people are so worried that just these giant retail spaces or these giant buildings are going to come into Bella Vista. And the way the topography is, it doesn't ever lend to that. We're not going to build some, 150,000 square foot building just kind of right smack dab in the middle of Bella Vista, because it's 5 times more expensive to build on that hill than it would be to build, outside of Bella Vista, a couple miles in some area that's flatter. And so a lot of big fears that people have about these, giant commercial things going into Bella Vista, I don't think a lot of that's even feasible because of just the cost that's required to build it. And so, there's going to be smaller kind of retail spaces and smaller commercial spaces, even if we do allow, and invite more commercial building, it'll be, just smaller buildings that don't seem like such a big city, and so I don't think Bella Vista, if we do it right, Bella Vista should be able to have a better tax base and more commercial businesses without losing the good feel that we all like about Bella Vista and the thing that drew us here.
Yeah, I'm all for growth, and I know Chris is too. I mean, a perfect example is you just mentioned Dollar General. You want to drop it; they want to drop it right where the Metfield complex is, right in front of townhouses and right next to the golf course. To me, that's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah. Dollar General store might have been a great thing for over in that area, but we need to do it a different way. We need to put it in a smarter place and make sure it seems like it fits where it belongs. You don't just find a piece of property and then just say, boom, yeah, that's commercial. And so, I do.
That's almost what happened though, right?
That's the thing. Have a great master plan. And so since we don't have a great master plan, it's like, well, where do we put it? Well, we could zone this C2 commercial. Why not? It's on the intersection of 2 busy roads, which, maybe makes sense, but at the same time, it only makes sense if, hey, you buy out a few more of these lots. And that's one of the things too, is there are some places in Bella Vista that would probably make fantastic commercial lots. And there may be a residence right there by it. But if people are kind of real estate savvy, they'll realize, hey, if the Dollar General store is going next to me and I'm on a busy road, it's, and busy roads are the hardest places to sell houses. Nobody wants to live on the busiest streets in Bella Vista. And so your house value is lower a lot of times on a busy street than it is on a side street. If you're 2 blocks off the busy street, your value is better than it is if you're on the busy. Right. But if we kind of say, hey, this is an area that we're considering zoning to commercial, anybody that understands how real estate works realizes that your $150,000 house is going to be worth $500,000 once there's a commercial space right in next to it, and you can zone yours also commercial. And so I think, a lot of people need to just kind of start, maybe realizing that that's a possibility. It's, hey, I can now buy my dream home on the lake because that business went in next door to me. I zoned mine commercial and now it's worth more money. And so, I think a lot of it is, putting stuff in the right place, but I also think we have some residential stuff in places that maybe it shouldn't have ever been. Yeah. And so, putting a Dollar General store in the backyard of a bunch of townhouses, probably not the greatest idea. but I do think, I do think that with some creative city planning and just some, wise development, buy out, half a dozen houses and then let's rezone it and make it something that makes, and so I think there are ways to do that without making Bella Vista, feel like a big city, because nobody wants that.
Right.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. Now in real estate and what have you, what part of Bella Vista would you think would be good for commercial type real estate? What areas? I mean, you think down towards the end of Highlands where the gun range is down there, it seems there's not much down there in that corner.
Pretty remote. And so there's not a lot of Bella Vista that's already zoned commercial. And what is, zone commercial, a lot of it's developed. And so, when you look at the city's, master plan on, what can be zoned commercial and how things are to, allowed, and where's places that they want businesses and what kind of businesses they want, the city spelled out, that information. And so when you read that, it's these bigger, busier intersections. And so, and there are some, and the reality is some of them have houses on them, and so part thing would be for somebody, that wanted to develop that commercially, isn't buy 2 lots, slam a commercial building up right next to a bunch of houses. It's, 3 or 4 houses that are the only ones right there, and then maybe try to get that developed. And so I think there's a way to do that, but it's just busier streets, busier intersections. And it's places that maybe aren't the most desirable places to have a home.
Right.
But for a business. And so, I think that is coming to Bella Vista, whether we're inviting it or not. I think we just need to be really smart about how we do it.
Okay.
And so, Bella Vista needs a better tax base, and we're spending the money on taxes. We're paying our property taxes. We're paying taxes to the city, and we're also paying sales tax. Everybody in Bella Vista is paying tons of sales tax.
Yeah.
And the only Bella Vista is getting sales tax right now is a handful of businesses where we can spend money in Bella Vista in person, pay that money there. And then the other way is they pass the internet sales tax. And so Bella Vista does get a sales tax off of internet purchases now because of that legislation. But anytime you go to Jane Walmart or drive into Bentonville or whatever, you're still paying taxes. You're just paying them to somebody else. And so
Right. Yeah.
you're paying the taxes, but your own city isn't benefiting from that. And so, we want to make ways to and how nice would it be if you didn't have to drive twice as far to do some of the stuff, spend some of the money that you were already going to spend.
Okay.
I agree. So you brought up the ACC with the zoning stuff, and so that's always that's a kind of a controversial subject a little bit.
There.
Yeah. So Bella Vista, after we became a city, a lot of people assume that a lot of stuff may go away. Obviously, we don't have the resources or the money to maintain, the POA property or anything as a city. But, we've got basically three governing bodies. I think they call it the three-legged stool. I like to call it the three-legged dog.
Yeah.
But, do you see, partnering up with, they call it the three-legged stool because everybody's got to work together. But I see, when we have city codes and city code enforcement, is there an opportunity for transitioning away from the ACC and the city actually absorbing that?
Yeah. Well, okay. So that's a tricky subject because I think the only way the ACC really goes away is if somehow Cooper, sells out to a bigger entity. And if Cooper sold out to a bigger entity, I think the ACC would instantly kind of go away and the city would take the responsibilities that the ACC takes. Now, by taking those responsibilities, there's certain things the city can enforce, and there's other things the city can't enforce. One thing they cannot enforce, because it's completely unconstitutional, is saying you can't paint your fence white. Now, the ACC can say that you can't paint your fence white because you enter into an agreement with the ACC by living in the POA. And so, but that's not a government agency. Like that's a private thing. And so by entering into that agreement, that they can dictate that, so there's rules that the ACC has and can enforce that the city could not enforce. Signs in your yard is one thing. The ACC can say no signs in your yard, but the city can't violate your First Amendment rights by saying no signs in your yard. And so, there's the interesting thing is the city already has adopted a ton of and is enforcing a ton of the rules that the ACC already has. Mm-hmm. And so doing a lot of that for them, which is kind of too bad that we're wasting city tax dollars to pay for something the ACC is already supposed to be doing for us, and so, hey, there's a trailer parked by this house or in the yard or whatever. And, there's a boat here, there's this there, and so the city adopted a lot of those ACC standards. And the idea with that, I don't think originally it was, hey, the city wants to be responsible for policing this. I think the real idea for that was they wanted just continuity between ACC regulations and city regulations so that it wasn't like, well, the city says that you can have a 12-foot trailer, but the POA, and the ACC says that you can only have, a 5-foot by 10-foot trailer. And so they tried to make a lot of the rules. And so if you look, a lot of the city ordinances are word for word the same as POA stuff. And so, and that was actually kind of ironically, that was a discussion yesterday in the city council, work session. So, it's confusing for residents when you have to, you got to call the city. Yeah. Then they're like, you call the ACC, you go over to the ACC, get a permit, then you got to go to the city and get a permit. And it's like. Yeah. And I do think that's a super simple way to do that, and so how hard would it be to get some volunteers in the community even, so it doesn't even cost anybody a penny. and just have a manila envelope. Hey, you want to put in a fence? No problem. Like you walk into the ACC office, you walk into the city office, either one, and they already have, hey, fencing permit on the manila envelope, and it has city permits and ACC permits all in the same envelope. How hard would that be?
Not hard at all.
Volunteers, I'm sure, in the city that would just happily, put those in an envelope, and and they could stuff 2 years of worth of in an hour, and then how streamlined would that be? And so because we don't work together as well as we should, and it would not be hard to just streamline that. You walk in the ACC office, and then everything's labeled. It's, hey, inside here there's POA permit, there's or the ACC permit, and then there's also city permit. It's all in here, and it says this address, whatever, and you just submit it that way. And so it is just a lot of confusion, and even people that have lived, people that are new here don't get it, and people that have lived here for a long time, most of them don't get it either. And so
That's true.
I would say we have 4 governments in Bella Vista instead of 3, because I would consider Cooper a government, because I feel like they have a lot of, we just don't get to vote on them,
Right.
and ACC for that matter. So
I know those are great points. I know I've had discussion with builders and subcontractors that flat out refuse to come to Bella Vista because it's too hard to navigate the paperwork, and they just don't want to deal with it. They'll go to Bentonville, they'll go to Rogers, they'll go to Springdale, and that's unfortunate. I don't know how you feel about that, but I
actually feel pretty strongly about that, because I'm a contractor, and so I've been doing business in Bella Vista for 16 years, and most of that time I won't build in Bella Vista. Yeah. And so, like, the number of things I've built outside the city are exponentially bigger and greater than anything that I've ever inside the city. And for that reason, it's historically has been a pain to deal with the city, and it's super slow. And I will say, it has gotten a lot better. Mayor Christie got rid of some people that were making it impossible to do that, to build anything in Bella Vista. And I have to say, they've done a good job cleaning that up, but Bella Vista has a tainted reputation, because of it. Right. And so, I think we could reach out better to better builders. There's some of the best builders in Northwest Arkansas, commercial and residential, won't touch stuff in Bella Vista. They won't bid it. You say, hey, house, and it's, like a $1.5 million lake home, and they'll say, yeah, it's in Bella Vista, we won't touch it. And a lot of, we have
inspectors, electricians, you name it.
To deal with, and there's we need to fix that. And I think a little bit of goodwill and reaching out to people and kind of letting them know, hey, like, things are changing, and we want better quality builders here doing better stuff in Bella Vista, and we're going to streamline the process and make it quicker for you. And I think that's also crippling our commercial growth, is this reputation we have, and just the process is slow. Bella Vista is thorough, but they're slow. And so we need to take something. A lot of times, man, it takes 6 months to get something done that would take 2 months done in Bentonville, and a lot of times it takes 4 months to get something done that just takes a couple weeks. And and I've experienced that a lot myself, in Bella Vista over the years, and it is hard to do. It's harder to do work in Bella Vista than it should be, and we can fix that. That is, it's not a hard thing to understand. What it's supposed to look like, because I see it all the time, because I pull permits in cities all over the Northwest Arkansas and deal with the counties, and it could definitely go a lot smoother.
Back to one more thing on infrastructure. So we had discussed the sewer, about the possibility of the city actually getting its own wastewater sewer utility. What about water utility? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, so I don't really know what the rules are on that now. I know that the city had an opportunity to buy the water from the POA, and I imagine that, it can still be for sale. And so, to me, it seems, at the time we had no money. The city didn't have a good tax base. The city didn't, get any kind of internet sales tax. We didn't have the money for it. We needed to build so many other things that seemed super urgent. Hey, you already have water. And so, I get why it happened. And so I get why the city doesn't own the infrastructure for the water. But, I mean, I would think that there's a possibility that, that could get fixed in the future, and it just would take, figuring out how to make it happen. And so I know originally how it happened, and I know how the decision got made and why the decision got made. And it was, hey, the POA was willing to sell the water, and, the price is X. And we looked at that number and we're like, well, we don't have that much money. And so, it was easy enough to say no to it then. And I think, I mean, I don't know why, that's not something that could be fixed. I also think internet's one of the big problems. Man,
huge problem. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Internet at my house is trash. And, I live right next. So, and I'll just tell you, like years ago when I moved in, so I moved into my house in like 2014, and they told me it was going to be $30,000 to bring internet to my house. And I can see it, 3 different directions. I can see good high-speed internet from my house. Now I can see a long ways, but at the same time, it's like there is internet, but I was just kind of surrounded by dead ends. And so to bring me internet, they said it was $30,000. Well, the city brought internet to the road department, which was like 85% of the way to my house. They're building the police station. They're bringing internet to the police station, and the price tag's still $30,000. And I feel like the city could definitely help people out, because I know there's a lot of circumstances like that where these people are happy to sell you internet only if they get to just hose you in the process. And I think we could, make the city definitely has the power to make internet more, high speed internet more available to people. And it really needs to happen. I mean, we've, in the last couple of years, business has changed, the world's changed, and we need to have it. People need internet. Like, I mean, you went into the office and you did your computer there, and then all of a sudden they hand you your computer and say, "Hey, see you later." Yep. And what are you supposed to do? I mean, if you don't have internet, you don't have internet, and so we need to fix that.
I agree. All right, well, last moment to get your word out there, Randy. What do you?
I don't know. I love Bella Vista. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to live here. I enjoy the amenities. I love the way it looks. I love I grew up in the country, and so this is the biggest city I've ever lived in. I guess, and so, so I have a meet and greet on May 19th. It's at Metfield Pavilion in the evening, and so you can see all that on my website, and you can follow me on Facebook, like me on Facebook. It's Vote for Randy Murray. And anyway, and I just encourage you. I want to be super transparent. I want people to come and meet me. I want people to feel comfortable out to me, talk to me, and I'm making myself super available. I'm having I'm going to do a meet and greet every month between now and the election. I'm inviting anybody in the public. My cell phone's number is available on all kinds of stuff, which people will probably think is crazy, and it might turn out to be a little bit crazy, but I want people to be able to reach out to me. And I've had several people call me and have questions and that kind of thing. And I'm trying to make as much time as possible to answer those, because I want to be super transparent. I want to be a mayor that, everybody knows. I want to be a mayor that everybody feels like they have access to. I want to be a mayor that, you come up to me because you recognize me, you've spoken to me before, and you have a problem, that you have somebody that'll listen, and that's who I am. I mean, I think, I have a lot of friends in the community. I've lived here for a long time. I've been involved in a lot of different groups, organizations. And I think, most people that I think have ever met me, find that I'm pretty friendly and agreeable and easy to deal with. And so, and I feel like I'm a good leader, and I'm passionate about Bella Vista and the government. And I also just feel like, it's a good opportunity to steer Bella Vista in a good direction for the future. And I'm planning on being here for the future. So
I hear you.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you coming on tonight, Randy. I know Chris and I do. We're excited to have you on. We wish you nothing but the best, and keep us in the loop what's going on out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time to meet with me.
Yeah. Take care.
Thank you, Randy.
Bye.
Same movie again. Windows and doors can't keep me in. I feel my heart underneath my skin. Stack up those dreams, won't let them go. Some way, somehow, my day will come. This
We are back, man. I don't know, man. I think Randy is like very approachable for one, man. Guy knows his stuff too. I mean, like, I don't know, when you brought up that sewer and the septic lines and all that, and like, he knows.
Yeah, he's really in tune what's going on in the community, Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, just from the beginning when we were getting him onto the podcast, and he improvised, he adapted, he overcame, he lost the signal, he got back.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's just, this is what we want. Someone that can change directions on a flip of the switch, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he had power outage, internet issues, and he made it happen. He's like, give me a minute. Okay, we're having some issues, and shifted in second gear and just like you said, adapt and overcome. Right? No problem is too big, and no solution is too small.
And what he said, I mean, it resonated with me. He hit on a lot of good topics. I did not get a chance to ask him, and I forgot, was the short-term rentals. I know me and you had more discussion on that, but I really like what I heard from him. I think people need to take a hard look at this guy. I mean, I think he's the real deal.
Well, I really do. It ties back to last week's podcast. You got some, the social media influencers, Mark, and they're promoting their horse in the race and stuff, and not allowing anybody to talk about the other horses that are in the race. And so, what I would encourage everybody to do is actually just take an honest look and cut out the noise, right? That's what we're trying to bring to the community, is actually like real talk with these candidates. Real talk, right? Me and you both, we live here, we work here, we love this place. We want to talk about these tough issues, and you, what better way? I mean, we said it before we did the interview. Yeah, what better way to actually get to know somebody and understand them than to sit down, talk for 40 minutes, right? And talk about these little issues that, are on our mind.
Right. I mean, we all have families and a vested interest in this community, Chris. And I think, again, what he was talking about really resonated with me. I mean, there's things that need to be taken care of. And I think his ideas that he has are great, Not
unreasonable to me, man. It's actually like responsible growth, making sure that, it's a good fit for the community. But we do, like it or not, man, we are growing. Like it or not, no doubt. We're growing.
There's no doubt. And you got to build up the infrastructure. And we touched briefly on revenue. We have to get more revenue as community, and to be able to build
what they're doing now is not bringing in revenue, man. It's not bringing in the type of revenue that we need.
No, it's not. And, I mean, that's what needs to be done to move forward. Right. So
the more we grow, the tax base goes up, right? But like he hit it spot on. Without the proper growth with commercial, right, or even industrial, I think that's a great idea out there by the gun range. I think you brought that up. It's like industrial areas, right? I mean, like, there is some low impact, high tech industry that could actually be out there, and that's a tax base, right? Like, that just directly benefiting jobs locally, right?
Right.
Beautiful idea, right? I mean, because it's so undeveloped out there right now. Yeah, and that's okay. Anybody who's complaining about taxes going up, because little birdie told me that there may be another tax increase coming soon. I personally believe it, right? But there may be a tax increase coming soon, and so everybody can be like, why are they raising my taxes? I've seen posts where people are like, man, I went and did my had to do my taxes so I get my car paid, my car tagged. And guess what they say? Up, right? Why do you think they're going up? You have to, so either the resident's going to bear the burden of the taxes, or commercial is going to bear the burden of it.
Right.
But regardless, growth is happening. Right. Roads need to be repaired. Infrastructure needs to be fixed. And the only way to actually offset some of that burden is start to grow commercially, industrial, everything else, right?
Right.
Like it or not, it is what it is. But I like his approach to responsible growth, right? he
Right.
mentioned responsible growth. And I honestly believe, like, very approachable guy, man.
Yeah,
well,
I totally agree with you.
I messaged him on Facebook. He's like, call
Yeah.
me, right? And
Very
then-
easygoing. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing, the bike trails, I know there's been a tremendous amount of private investment to build it up, but I do believe we have a responsibility from the city, I believe, on maintaining.
I
I'd
think
have to
there
look
is
at
a-
that. I
yeah,
don't want
I-
to speak out of turn, but I think that was my understanding on that. But
I do remember reading that that there, like, after a certain amount of time, I don't know how many years it was or anything like that off the top of my head. I think after a certain amount of time, there was a maintenance agreement for said trails.
Yeah.
That being said, right, there are a lot of groups, right? I think Friends of Arkansas single track fast.
yeah,
Um, There's the
Trailblazers,
the Trailblazers, the
Yeah.
bike patrol guys, right? There are people that are donating their personal time and effort and everything else to maintain said trails, right? But at some point, if that's not happening, right, then I 100% agree that, like, the POA members may be on the hook for some of this maintenance. And I think from a city aspect, there was, like, maintenance required. But I think his point that he was trying to make, Mark, is, like, when you say there's 3.5 million going to a trail or 5.8 million going to a trail, right? It's not taxpayer money. They're just
No,
approving
totally
that
agree.
money from that
Yeah,
private donor
totally
to be
agree.
put in, right? And so
Yeah.
that's kind of that misconception I think he's trying to clear up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think there is, like, a small portion of maintenance of these trails. But if these trails are being used, I mean, these are like deer paths, right? If these trails are being used, honestly, what kind of maintenance are you looking at?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I can't put a number on it, but that I remember faintly that conversation Peter Christie had brought up. So
Yeah.
we'll do more legwork on that, and maybe we can just knocked it out of the park. I mean, I like to, we talked about having other candidates on, but this guy just threw the gauntlet down.
I think we need to get some other candidates on, man.
Yeah, I mean,
look, if you watching the podcast, right, or you're a friend of one of these candidates watching the podcast, I
Yeah.
encourage you to get them on. We'll ask them some questions. They ain't gonna probably ain't gonna be the same questions because the two candidates that we have a history with the city, so we may actually ask some questions about some stuff that has happened in the city. But at the end of the day, how do you get to know a man? Sitting down and
Yeah.
talking with him.
yeah,
That's
for
it.
sure. Yeah.
Or a woman. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be misogynistic, okay? Because hey,
No.
there's some qualified females in our community that could be running too.
Yeah, I mean, great interview, absolutely great interview, and enjoyed the time here. And hopefully, like I said, if he's got anything else going on, love to hear from him, and maybe have him on again. Or again, the invitation's open to other mayoral candidates. We're here, Chris at nwaexchange.com or Mark at nwaexchange.com. Just reach out to us, send us an email. We can work around your schedule. So. The opportunity is here. Whether you want to take advantage of it, it's a different story. So,
Yeah.
that's what we
I
do.
just
We
know-
have an
I
open
mean,
forum, Chris. We're open.
I'm tired of the narrative. We've always been tired of the narrative, right? We want to actually go, like, okay, I can go down to the store and buy milk, right? Or I can go to the cow and get it, right? It's easier for me to go to the cow sometimes to get it, and so that's the way I look at it. It's like there's so much, the rumor mill in
Yeah,
Bella Vista, it runs, man. It really does run. And
Right.
so, like, obviously after starting the podcast, people are trying to pipe information our way, and we stay away from that, right? Either if we can't verify it, we're staying away from it, or we'll provide a forum for somebody to actually get their story out, right? Like we did last week. Probably a segue into the next bit,
Correct.
right? But Sandy, after she did her post last week, or her interview with us last week, she shared that post out on social media, and man, I don't know.
Not
man.
again. Not again.
I thought I thought we handled ourselves, like, professionally. We gave somebody a voice. We gave somebody a platform to tell their story. Actually, two people to tell their story, because there was the email from David.
Right. Yeah.
And to draw light to a potential problem with, somebody who just, maybe you're running a large group, kind of like a tyrant. Right. Cool if you want to run your group that way, but you got to start being honest with people, right? And so after that podcast, Sandy, she's like, she's sharing it out. I did a podcast, talk about this issue. Since my stuff has been deleted elsewhere. And lo and behold, man, I mean, like, we'll cut over the web share again, bro.
Oh, no.
I'm so saddened to see this, man. So lo and behold, okay, I redacted the name, but just know, I didn't have to do that, okay? But now it seems to be like, now you're after our podcast, bro. This podcast is a continuation of a lie that was started by Sandy I. No, our podcast isn't a continuation of anything, man. Our podcast is actually giving people a platform to talk about their stance on specific issues, unlike your group. Okay, so please do not do that to yourself, okay? Do not insinuate that this podcast is a continuation of anything, right? Our podcast is our podcast. And for you to do that, you might want to check yourself because you may find yourself in a defamation suit. Period. Our podcast is our podcast. Period. Right? We've gone out of our way to protect you. Your name, everything else. So please, sir, take a moment, figure out where you're living at, and you're not in control of us. Nobody's in control of us. We run our show the way we run our show. Solid life advice like we gave you last week. Maybe you might want to take it free. Not going to charge you. No consulting fee. So, anyhow, I'm a little hot and bothered by this. It just seems like, you want to attack specific people on, and try to control a narrative or control a person or put a person down. And I don't agree with that. This is their story. We've offered the opportunity. We've offered the opportunity for you to come on the show and clear the record. If you feel that there's something that is misrepresented, the door's open.
Yeah.
Our emails are on the screen pretty much during the whole duration of the podcast. You know how to get in touch with us. But please don't insinuate that like our podcast is a lie or anything like that. Our podcast is our platform to get out what we feel is the truth when there's a concerted effort to control narratives, which we've proven. There's a concerted effort to control narratives. Prove me wrong. Change my mind. I welcome the opportunity. That being said, we want to take this off the screen, bro. I think we'll probably just end up wrapping it up. I think we're an hour and 36 in. Some people have said, man, the podcast is a little bit long.
We gotta make everybody happy, Chris.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. It just depends on how long we decide to go. But remember to like, share, subscribe. I hope that everybody has a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week. We will be back next Friday.
I appreciate you guys. Take it easy and have a good one.
All right. Take care. Get you next week.
Take a stand, everybody, come take my hand, come take my hand, walk this road together.